Hello, beautiful soulmate. Izzy Former here, and today we are going to be making this very trendy shirt that has a pleat at the front with a zipper. So, if this look like what you're interested in, make sure you watch to the end. Let's dive to the video. So to get started, these are all the measurements that you need. You need your length, which is the length of the short. You need the hip, and then the thigh. All right. So for the crotch line, because this is going to be a little fitted, I'm going to be using my actual crotch line, which is divide your hip by 4 and then add 0.5 inches. Okay. So that is what I'm going to be using. And for the fabric, once again, my people, I'm going to be using this Ankara fabric. Why? Because Ankara can never go wrong on any style. So what I have here is 2 yards. Let's get started with the cotton. So the first thing you're going to do is to fold your fabric, right? And to get your fabric fold, all you have to do is to divide your thigh measurement by 2 and then add your 1-inch allowance for a regular pant. But because this pant has a pleat at the front, you're also going to be adding the pleat for that, the allowance for that pleat, right? And for mine, I'm going to be adding 1.5. It depends on how many pleats you want and how deep you want that pleat to actually be. So I don't want mine to be too deep, but I still want it to be noticeable, right? So I'm going to be adding 1.5 inches for the pleat. So now my thigh, which is 26 divided by 2, gave me 13 inches, and then I added 1.5 to that 13 inches for the pleat, and again 1 inches for the sewing allowance. That is how I got my fabric fold. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to take my crotch line, right? And the crotch I'm going to be using, I want it to be total of 11 inches. When we calculated in the beginning of the video, it was 10.5, but I want it to be 11. So what I'm going to do now is to minus 2 inches for my band, right? I minus 2 inches. Remember, the 2 inches started from this border, this fabric border. So I minus 2 inches for my band, and then I went ahead and I'll go ahead and make a mark at 11 inches, right? Remember, this 11 inches is my crotch measurement, which is my thigh line here, right? So from that line, I'll go up by 2 inches, and that is for my hip. And then on my hip line, I'm going to divide my hip measurement by 4. So whatever I have, I will still add my 1.5 inches for the fabric, for the picking of the fabric, and 1 inch for my allowance, right? So my hip divided by 4 right here, 1.5 inches, and then 1 inch sewing allowance, right? So I'm going to connect that line all the way up to my waist. Now that I've gotten this, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to take the full length of this short, and the length I'm working with here is 16 inches. I'm going to also add 2 inches for the folding allowance. So I'm going to be having a turn up on the hem of this pant. So I'm going to be adding extra 1 inch for that turn up. You're going to see the reason why we're adding this 1 inch when we are doing the turn up, right? So having gotten this, we're just going to go ahead and curve this line here, then go ahead and cut out. The next thing I went ahead to do is to fold in that 1.5 inches that I added for the pleat. Fold it in like this and hold it down with a pin or iron it down. This is just to make sure we get our short to the exact measurement it's supposed to be before we cut our back, right? So doing this is very important so that your shirt is not going to be over big. Remember that 1.5 inches we added for the pleat, we are going to take it away, right, when we are coupling our pants. So make sure you take it away now before you start cutting the back. So after I was done doing that, I placed my front on top of another piece of fabric that I folded into 2, as you can see, and this piece of fabric I folded into 2 is going to be for our back. And for our back, we are going to make sure that it's both longer and wider than the front. Now for the length, is going to be 1.5 inches longer than the front, and for the width is going to be 2 inches wider than the front. Now this is what I did. I measured that 2 inches to make sure that it's enough, that we have at least 2 inches on the side. Then I marked it out, as you can see. Then on the crotch line, I measured 1.5 inches. That means the back is wider than the front by 1.5 inches on the crotch line. Then I curved it in, as you can see. Then on the inseam on the crotch line, I made sure that the back is longer than the front by 1.5 inches on the inseam. Then on the waistline, I made sure that they are both equal so that when we are shaping, it's going to be equal, right? So after I was done doing that, if you want to put that on your shirt, this is what I'm doing. I'm just marking out my dart. That is optional. I don't like putting that on my shirt, but if you want, this is how to get it. From your shaping side, go in by 2 inches, and then from that 2 inches you went in by, go in by 4 inches. That is how you get your dart. Right, so I just marked my dart and I folded it away. Now I went ahead to start working on the front. The first thing you are going to do for this front is to use your pressing iron to press away um your pleating. Then you start marking the pocket. The pocket, for the length of the pocket is going to be 7 inches. That is the length for adult pocket, and for the width 2 inches or 1.5, depending on the size I'm making this for. Then I marked it, right? This is the kind of pocket we are making. I marked it. So to cut out the pocket, I folded my fabric into 4. As you can see, I folded once into 2, then I folded again, making it 4 folds, right? Then I marked 6 inches for the pocket. The pocket width is going to be 12 inches when it's open. So why folded is going to be 6 inches, and the length of the pocket I made it 13 inches. If you want it deeper, you can go 14 inches as well. Then I went ahead to cut out with a curve, as you can see. Right, so just look closely to what I'm doing. Even though you don't understand my explanation, if you are looking closely to the video, you're going to definitely understand the video, right? So this is what my pocket looks like when I was done cutting. So now that I'm done cutting my pocket, I'm going to bring it in. Then I place the front of my fabric on top of the pocket. Don't scatter the pocket that you cut. That same way you used to cut that pocket, so that you're not going to end up cutting the same side on the 2 pockets, right? So I went ahead to cut out. This is a cut out pocket, but this one is straight. Make sure it's straight. I noticed that mine was a little bit curved, so I strengthened it when I wanted to sew it. So make sure it's straight. This is the kind of pocket that we are making. So now that I've ensured that, like I said before, make sure you fold away that 1.5 inches, that pleat. You can use your iron to press it. Close that pleat, that's 1.5 inches we added for the pleat. Close it first. That's the first thing you're supposed to do, so that when you are done joining your pocket, you are going to join that up together with the pocket while the pleat is already folded. Right, so that is the first thing I went ahead to do. I went ahead to fold that pleat. You can hold it down with a pin if you want, but I use iron to press mine to make sure that that pleat is the way I wanted it to be. Right, so that was the first thing that I did before I started joining my pocket. Now to join the pocket, you are going to place the right side of the pocket facing the right side of your fabric, as you can see. They are going to sew with 0.5 inches along the pocket line. That place that we cut out, you're going to use 0.5 inches to sew it. So use 0.5 inches to sew it down. Then when you are done sewing it, you are going to flip your pocket to the right side. Then when you flip it to the right side, you are going to top stitch on it, on that place that you joined. So this is what I have when I was done. Now you are going to fold your pocket into 2, the wrong side facing each other, like this. Just look closely to what I'm doing on the video, like this. Then you are going to use 0.5 inches to close your pocket from the center of the pocket to the other side. So when you are getting to the end of the pocket, you're going to have an end to that pocket. When you are sewing, you are going to stop your sewing on 0.5 inches before the end of the pocket. Then you're going to turn like this. When you are done, you're going to turn it. Then but before you turn it, you're going to give a small notch to where that sewing ended. That notch is going to help you. So when you want to attach your pocket, when you want to like close everything, you're going to use that notch to close everything. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Now you're going to top stitch on that your pocket. Now when you're closing up, because you already pressed that your pleat, is going to just for everything just going to fall easy. Then you're just going to attach your pocket on the up and on the down. I hope you understand. Just look closely to what I'm doing. Now this is what we have when we are done fixing the pocket. Now to fix the zipper, what I went ahead to do is to cut out two pieces. One is 4 inches in width and the other one is 3 inches in width, and the both of them are 9 inches in length. Now for the smaller one, I folded one side, as you can see, and for the bigger one, you are going to fold into two, and so because you are going to be turning it to the right side. Now for our fabric itself, from the waist, go down on the inseam, on the crotch line, go down by 6 inches. That 6 inches is the length of our zip, right? And then you are going to close it down from the waist. Now when you are closing, you are going to close to 0.75 or 1 inch, depending on the allowance you added. And when you are closing on this upper part where we measured 6 inches, you are going to sew it with loose stitches. Then when you get to that 6 inches down, you are going to tighten your machine and finish up the sewing. Right, so when I was done, I turned the 4 inches piece, I turned it and I pressed it. The 3 inches, I folded it like I said, and I also pressed it. Now for my actual fabric, remember we said we are going to use loose stitches to sew that to that 6 inches. That's exactly what I did. Now you are going to use your scissors to cut in on that 6 inches mark. Cut it in till you get to the sewing. Right, so if you use 1 inch, that means you're going to cut in 1 inch. Then you're going to open it up, that 6 inches, open it up, then press. Right, this is to create a base for our zipper. So what you just did now is open the side where we are going to put in our zipper. It's just going to make the work so easy for you if you do it this way. Now go ahead and lose the stitch. That is why we made it with a loose stitch, so we can easily lose it after we are done pressing it. I hope you understand this. Now at this point, if you are still watching, please hit the subscribe button and also share this video so that the algorithm is going to move it to other people. Now when you are done, open it up like this. Right, so this is what I have. I went ahead to press it down once again just to make sure that it's lying properly in place. Like I said before, it's like creating a base where your work is going to take place. Now this is what we have. As you can see, this is so already very, very neat. Now the first thing I went ahead to do is to fix the smaller size, the one that we folded on one side. Fix it like this. All right, right side facing each other. We are going to sew it with 0.5 inches to the end. The end is that notch, that place that you opened up. That is where the end is. So sew it to that place, then you open it up and you top stitch. When you are top stitching, make sure you are top stitching on the parts, on that piece part, not on your fabric, on the part that you joined. That is where the top stitch is supposed to face. Now bring in your zipper, right, and place the left side of the zip, that is the zipper, place it right side of the zip facing your right side of the fabric, as you can see. Right, then you open up your zipper, the left side of the zipper. You know, zip, when you open it, you have two sides. The left side of the zipper is the one you are going to attach on this particular part of your pants. Right, so sew it from the waist down to the end as well. Remember, the end is where the other sewing stopped. Right, now when you are done sewing, this is what you should have. Then flip your zip to the right side like this. Flip your zip, make sure that your zip, now the front of the zip is now facing the wrong side of your pants like this. So the placement is going to be your pants, the zipper at the center, then the other piece, the one we folded into two, at the down. It's just like using your pants and the piece to encase the zip. Right, so but you're going to make sure that the side of the zip, the one that the zip head passes on, is still showing. Right, so just place your zipper like this, and then you sew from the top to the end as well. Now when you are done, this is what it's supposed to look like. The zip is just going to naturally close itself. As you can see, it's closed now. You're not even seeing the zip again. Now you're going to sew, you're going to like cover it and curve it down. I'm going to mark it now with a chalk to show you how you are going to top stitch on this your zipper. So from the waist, go down like this. You can use 1.5 inches or 1.25 to close this up. Then you curve it in at the end of that zipper. Remember, the end I'm talking about now is the end of that 6 inches that we measured from the up, if you still remember. Now I went ahead to zip up this zip because before you top stitch on it, you're supposed to zip it up so that the thing just naturally closes the way it's supposed to be. right? So just go ahead and sew from the up and close it up by curving it in to the end of the zipper. So when I was saying close it up, I forgot to mention that when you are closing it up, you're going to make sure that this part now that I'm opening is not closing together. So when you are closing it, you're going to keep that part aside, that one that we folded into two, keep it aside. Then when you get to the point where you're going to curve it in to meet the end of the zipper, then you're going to push it in back so that everything's going to close together. I hope you understand this. So when we are done with the zipper, I went ahead to put the dart. Now this dart is totally optional because at the end of the day it became useless in my style. But if the style you are making, you don't have an elastic at the back, then this dart is going to be very, very useful for you, right? So use 3.5 inches to mark your dart from the waist down to 3.5 or 4 inches. But I use 3.5 and I like using 3.5 anytime I decide to place a dart on my shirt. Then I went ahead to join the both sides of the back. Now that we are done joining the both side of the back, the next thing is to put our band. Now for our band, I measured the back, as you can see, and I cut out my band. And the band that I use, because the elastic is 2 inches, I used a 5 inches in wideness for the band that I used, so that when we encase the elastic between the band, we are still going to have allowance to join it. So make sure that when you're cutting out your band, you still have extra 0.5 or 0.7 inches to your band when it's folded. I hope you understand this. Now for my elastic, the way I like measuring my elastic, I like using half of the waist that I'm working with plus 3 or 4 or 2 inches, depending on how stretchy you want it to be. But for this case, I use plus 2 inches, as you can see, so that when we place this, it's just going to gather the waist of our pants, thereby making it a lot more fitted, right? So if I've been following my channel, this routine would have been, you have been conversant with this routine by now. Just go ahead and use your band to encase the elastic. As you can see, first of all, hold it on the tip so it doesn't move. Then you start sewing, and make sure when you are sewing that you're not matching on top of the elastic, but you're matching closest to the elastic, because you still need the elastics to stretch at the end of the day. So when I was done, I went ahead to top stitch on it, and this is what we have. Now go ahead and join your band to your fabric, and when you are joining, make sure that you are stretching it so that it's going to be equal at the end of the day. Now this is what we have. Even the dart that I placed, they have disappeared. That is why I said that this dart was entirely useless for this my style. But if you don't want yours to have elastic at the back, then go ahead and add your dart. Now for the front, I went ahead to cut out my interfacing for the band because I want the band to be thick. Now the interfacing I'm using here is a strong gum stay, right? So I cut out 2 inches. This gum stay you're seeing here now is 2 inches in wide, and for the length, I use the length of the band that I cut out, right? So I went ahead to press it just to gum the elastic on my band. This is what we have when we are done. You're going to understand this if you look closely. The gum stay that I used is 2 inches, which is the band. Our band is supposed to be 2 inches, right? Then when I was gumming it, I left 0.5 inches for joining. That 0.5 inches is what we are going to use to join this to the waist of our pants, right? Then when I was done, I folded the other side, right? I folded the 0.5 inches in, then I folded it into 2, giving us the full band like this. If you look closely, you're definitely going to understand what I'm trying to explain here, right? So I went ahead to prepare our loop, belt hold. Yeah, this is what it's called. It's called belt hold. Then I went ahead to join it on the pleat, that place that we pleated. I joined one on this side, one on the other side, and then the remaining 2 I joined on the dart lines on the back. So I went ahead to start joining the band, my band. Remember that 0.5 inches we left on one side, the side that we added the gum stay, that is the side we are going to use to sew, right? I used that 0.5 inches to join on the others on one side. Remember that this front has 2 sides because of the zip. Then when you get to the end, which is the zipper side, make sure you leave allowance for the closing up. Don't just cut it directly where it ended. Leave at least 1 inch or 0.5 inches that you're going to use to close it up. As you can see, Can you see? So that when you want to close it up, you're just going to fling it to the other side, then you close up, and this is just going to be very neat. I hope you are following. Right, so this is what we have. Now we are about to finish up the sewing. To finish up, we're just going to join the front and the back together. So bring in your back, place it on top of the front like this. Now remember, this is supposed to be equal, and the band of the back is 2 inches, the band of the front is also 2 inches. So place the back to your front like this, and we want to have a neat finishing for the band. So you are going to encase the band of the back with the band of the front. I don't know if you understand, but if you look closely on the video, you're definitely going to understand. So place the back on your front like this, then you are going to flip the lining, because the other side is now serving as the lining to the band of the front. So you are going to use that side that is serving as the lining to encase the band of the back like this. With 1 inch, you are going to sew till you get to the hem of the pants. I don't know if you get this, right? But it's very, very clear. Do the other same thing for the center. Remember that center that I was talking about? You are going to leave at least 1 inch. Also flip it like this, as you can see me doing in the video, and finish up the band for both sides. Now when I was done, this is what you should have. Go ahead and trim off excess allowance, so that when you flip to the right side, it's just going to be smooth and neat and relaxed. Now this is how beautiful this looks when I flip to the other side. Have you seen? This is what it looks like. Just look at that band. Look at how relaxing and how beautiful it looks. So go ahead and finish up your band. Now when I was done doing that, the next thing I did was to fold the hem. Now remember when we added extra 1 inch to the hem after we added 2 inches for the folding allowance? What I'm doing now is just to show you how to finish up the belt hole. So that one is not a hard work. I hope so. So for the hem, like I was saying, use the 2 inches that we added for the hem allowance to fold the hem 2 inches, right? So when I was done folding, this is what we have. Fold it, match it down with that 2 inches that we added, right? So remember, we added extra 1 inch. You are going to see the usefulness of that 1 inch when we are about to do our turn up, because that turn up always takes away 1 inch when you are turning up. Like if you use 2 inches to fold your hem, when you turn up, it's going to take away 1 inch. So it's going to shorten the length of your pants, right? So because of that, endeavor to add that 1 inch back when you are cutting it, right? So I pressed my hem, and this is how to do a turn up. After you press your hem, you're going to open up the hem. Like that 2 inches, you're going to open it up like this, and when you open it, it's just like sharing your hem between the up and the down of your pants. So just open it up and you press the center down. If you open it up, you're going to share it between the up and the down of your pants and just press it down. When you do this, it's going to take away 1 inch from the hem that you folded. That means that if you do not add that 1 inch when you are cutting, after you are done after you are done with this process, you are going to find out that your pants is 1 inch shorter than what you wanted it to be. So when you are cutting, you are going to make sure that you add that 1 inch, so that when you turn it up with this style, this method of turning it up, that 1 inch that you added is going to make up for the length of the pants you are trying to achieve. I hope you understand this. Voiceover is hard though, so just look closely. You're definitely going to understand what I was trying to explain. So when I was done with the turnover, I went ahead to shape, right? So I used 1 inches to shape my inseam, and this is everything we have for this pant. Now if you follow the every instruction correctly, you're going to arrive at this very beautiful piece. This is what it looks like. Trust me guys, this is so beautiful. And imagine making this with a plain fabric. This is what it looks like on me. This came out really nice, just the way I wanted it to. So thank you very much. If you are still watching till now, if you're yet to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button, drop a comment. You can even request for a tutorial under this post, and I will definitely get back to you. All right, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.